We are live. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Real quick, if you can hear me, please put a 1 in the chat or a thumbs up. Just make sure the volume's good and perfect. All right. So today we are covering a story we covered once before. I think it was Jennifer who introduced me to this story. Mercedes Vega. It is literally the 1-year anniversary since she was found burnt alive. This is a truly terrible, horrific crime that happened, and the mother and the parents are just begging for them to share her story. So we are going to go ahead and cover that. We do have some updates in this case. For those that are familiar with this case, she was found in an unknown car. I do know what kind of car that is because somebody sent me some screenshots of the police report. So we will definitely go over that and much more. Before we get started, though, we always like to get back by featuring the missing. And today we have somebody I've featured once before. This is Bradley Close. He went missing on April 8th in Arizona, at just 16 years old. Does suffer from autism. 6 foot, 175 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. So he's been missing since April 8th, and it looks like there's been some updates since then. It says April 14th. He hasn't been found, and they had 120 volunteers searching for him on Saturday. That was actually when we were out searching for Aiden. So they have now issued a silver alert for Bradley. So if anybody's in that area, let me pull up the better one here. There we go. So this is Bradley. If you have any information, you can call 602-732-0081. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting my voice back. We were out searching for Aiden Clune and kind of hollering and stuff, and so hopefully I'll get my voice back. But anyway, yeah, if you're not familiar with this case, we're going to cover it right now, and it is a truly horrific case, and literally it's the 1-year anniversary. So I'm just trying to get this video up here. There we go. And I know there's so many cases going on. I know there's new info on the Riley Strain case. I did a video on that. If you guys missed it, check it out. I was literally going to cover the mothers, from Oklahoma. And then I heard about this case and that it was the actual anniversary. So I really wanted to cover this because, again, the mother has been begging on TikTok for people to share her daughter's story. So, and again, we have some new information as well. So here's a couple of photos of Mercedes Vega. She was just 22 years old. She was a dancer. She worked part-time as a dancer, but she wanted to become a personal trainer. She lived in Tempe, Arizona. She lived at what's called the Aubrey. I think it's apartments. She had 5 siblings and many friends who had nothing but amazing things to say about Mercedes. They said she was really smart, responsible, and just starting her life. And sadly, it got snuffed out. So she was planning on, and actually the details have changed, but we'll just go with the original and then we'll update it. But she was leaving her apartments, the Aubrey, on April 16th, so literally 1 year and a day ago. And at 9:15 p.m., originally it was slated that she was going to be going to see some friends or a friend at Dave & Buster's. And there is an underground parking garage at this place, and she's actually caught on camera just for a short bit, but there's a camera that focuses on, I believe it's either an elevator or a staircase or maybe both, that she's kind of coming out of that leads to the underground parking garage at this, I believe, apartment condos. And she was leaving at 9:15, and she's caught on camera here. And literally, as she goes out of frame, and her parking stall's not far. I've seen a video, and I did get a chance to snag it, but somebody did like walk around the parking garage, and it wasn't too far from where she walks out of view. But apparently, just as she walks out of view, there was at least one person, and it's believed that at least two suspects are involved, and we'll explain why if you haven't heard this story. But she was going to her 2019 white Dodge Charger, which was parked in the stall, and as she was walking to her vehicle, somebody had struck her. So we'll look at the surveillance footage.
It all began on the night of April 16th. The Pillsbury is showing us this surveillance footage of Mercedes walking into her Tempe apartment parking garage just after 9 p.m. She was on her way to meet friends.
You can see when she comes out that she does not have a care in the world. She's not paying attention to her surroundings. She's
dressed to go to Dave & Buster's.
That's why Tom believes she had no idea she was in danger when she left.
So, let me get to chat real quick here. Let's see. Sandy Hurd, I have company, so I can't stay. I will watch replay later. Good to see you, Sandy. Got all my mods in here. Thank you, mods, for taking the time. We have a wonderful community, and I just want to say thank you to the mods for making that a wonderful place here. So here is something that came out a little bit more recent, and where is it? Right here. Investigators said on Tuesday, through interviews, they learned Vega abruptly canceled those plans. So originally, the family had stated that she was on the way to meet friends for dinner at a Dave & Buster's. But then they learned that those plans were canceled just before her disappearance, and her last communication was telling someone she was planning to go to work. So that's very interesting, because the last time I think we covered this, they didn't have that update. She was still originally supposedly going to Dave & Buster's. So that's kind of interesting. They don't say who this person is that contacted her, but she was planning to go to work, which is interesting. Again, she worked a couple of nights as an exotic dancer. I forget the place that she worked at. I think Jennifer probably knows the name of the place. It's been a while. I know I have it in my notes somewhere. So again, she was literally attacked just
April 17th,
as she
2023.
Just as she walked to her vehicle. And then from there, from 9:15, this is the next incident that happened.
At about 12:30 in the morning, Department of Public Safety received a 911 call about a car that was on fire. This incident took place outside of Tonopah, Arizona, about 10 miles west of the Tonopah exit off of Interstate 10 near milepost 85.
So they found a burning vehicle just outside Tonopah, or inside Tonopah, and it's literally like 68 miles from her apartments on Interstate 10. And she was found in an abandoned car. It was not her car. And this was one thing that we didn't know. We didn't know anything about the car, but I do have the police report. I know what kind of car it is, and we're going to go over that. That's one of the details we now know. But at the time, this unknown car was found by EMS just off I-10 in Tonopah, close to the mile marker 85 on early hours at 1 a.m. April 17th. So literally 1 year to the date. At 1 a.m. approximately, they found this poor girl burnt alive in the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and play the
Morning hours of April
Report here.
17th, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says Mercedes Vega was found in a burning car off the I-10 near Tonopah. Now we know exactly how she died. According to the medical examiner's report True Crime Arizona obtained, Mercedes was shot in the arm, hit in the head, had bleach in her throat, and eventually died from smoke inhalation while being burned alive in that car. Her parents believe death wasn't the ultimate goal, and she paid the price for fighting back.
Why would you not just shoot her in the parking garage?
She was tortured. Ultimately, that if there's no other way.
Yeah, so whatever they did to her, it was absolutely horrible. Bleach in her throat, died from smoke inhalation, was shot in the shoulder, had blunt force trauma to her head. I mean, this poor girl suffered. And again, she wasn't found in her vehicle. She was found in a different vehicle. And when we covered this last time, we didn't know what that vehicle was because it was never reported. But I do have some screenshots that somebody sent me of the police report, and we do know now what kind of vehicle it was, and we have some clues to go off of. So we will touch on that as well. But they found her car not far from her apartment complex, which is found southeast at a place called the Culinary Dropout. So they found her, obviously burnt alive at 1 a.m. And then that same day, I'm not sure at what time, but on April 17th, they had found her car illegally parked at this, what they call the Culinary Dropout. Now, obviously, it was placed there on the 16th, which meant that since she was attacked at her apartments, that meant that somebody had to drive her vehicle. And then if they drove her vehicle, that meant there had to have been another vehicle that had either been there prior to that, or somebody drove up, or there was two people there originally, and then two cars came out of her apartment. We don't know. And then they met up, and then from there, they dumped her car, and then took her in this abandoned car that they would eventually abandon. So it clearly seems that at least two people were involved in this case to be able to perform all these activities. And so there's this place called Culinary Dropout, not far down the street. I think it's like Mills Ave. It's kind of a very popular hangout. I think there's a bunch of bars there and stuff. At the time, there was no mention of any surveillance cameras or anything, and they really wanted the public to know about her vehicle and the license plate LUV 333. That was really kind of, they were hoping somebody had seen this vehicle, whoever was disposing of it that night. Yet it's been a year and they have not had anybody come forward about this vehicle or that incident. But there has been new updates about this particular incident as well that we'll dive into as well. So it's not far from her apartment. So this was probably, obviously, premeditated.
Just into our newsroom tonight, new developments in the Mercedes Vega murder investigation 1 day before the 1 year mark of her death. That is where we begin tonight. The 22-year-old was found dead in a burning car off the I-10 in Tonopah.
The medical examiner ruled her death homicide, and that's remained unsolved to this day. But tonight, we've learned new details about where this investigation stands. True crime correspondent Brianna Whitney has been following this case closely this past year. Brianna, what's the latest tonight?
We now know there was a change in where Mercedes said she was going last, and the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office revealed there's surveillance footage of a key moment in this case that may provide a lead to detectives. Take a look at this. This is the last known video we have of Mercedes Vega leaving her Tempe apartment complex heading into the parking garage. Her family tells us her car was found abandoned at the culinary dropout in Tempe, but they say she didn't drive it there. Tonight, MCSO confirming they have surveillance video showing Mercedes' car arriving in the roadway and being left there until detectives discovered it.
So they have surveillance footage. So I don't know how long they've had this, but they have surveillance footage of the vehicle arriving and then somebody interacting. So I can't believe they haven't, it's been a year now and they haven't released this footage for the public to possibly identify the suspect or suspects in this case. I'm going to play that one more time.
In the roadway and being left there until detectives found abandoned at the culinary dropout in Tempe, but they say she didn't drive it there. Tonight, MCSO confirming they have surveillance video showing Mercedes' car arriving in the roadway and being left there until detectives discovered it. Originally, loved ones told us Mercedes was on her way that night to meet friends for dinner, but just revealed by investigators, they learned through interviews Mercedes abruptly canceled those plans just before her disappearance, and instead, her last communication was telling somebody she was planning to go to work. We know she worked a couple nights a week as an exotic dancer. MCSO telling us they've served search warrants on accounts and devices, and through that started working with other law enforcement agencies, including known associates to Mercedes Vega, investigating those and other ties that led to her death. Tomorrow, on the anniversary of her death, Mercedes' friends and family are holding a walk to remember her and continue their fight for answers until an arrest is made. Arizona's family will be there, and we've also put in requests to see the full police report in this case that should reveal quite a bit more. We are still waiting for that. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
DB Cooper, Arizona's Midwest down there. It's possible. Whoever did this, and they'll talk about this in a bit. I'm not sure if it's the family or somebody else. It might be the family, but yeah, they mentioned whoever did this was clearly sending a message. She's shot. She's burnt alive. They had a gun, so they could easily just shot her, dumped her in a ditch or somewhere. But no, it's like sending a message. They left her in a burning vehicle where, people are going to see, and it's a major highway, this Interstate 10, and we'll look at it later. And again, last time when we covered this, we didn't know about the vehicle that it was found, that she was found in. I couldn't find any reports about it was found in this kind of vehicle. The vehicle looked like this. I do have that report now, which we'll go over here. So I apologize. You guys are probably not going to see this very well. Like I said, somebody just sent me some screenshots. But I'll read it out to you guys. On April 17th at approximately 1:43 a.m., I was dispatched to I-10 at milepost 85 westbound in reference to assist other agency call for service. On the way for the call for service, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office advised me that the DPS is on scene for a vehicle fire, but there was also a dead body inside the vehicle as well. At approximately 2:12 a.m., I arrived on scene. I observed Sergeant McDonald and Lieutenant Freeman, Deputy Moore on scene. Shortly after, Sergeant Campello arrived on scene. While on scene, I observed a white 2018 Chevy Malibu, and it even has the VIN number, which we will go over in a bit. So this abandoned vehicle that we had no idea about was a 2018 Chevy Malibu. It was actually a white Malibu. It was on the north-hand shoulder of the highway. Observed a female occupant in the back seat of the vehicle, appearing to be deceased, sadly. It should be noted the vehicle's VIN comes back as a salvaged title, and the registered owner of the vehicle is State Farm Mutual Automotive Insurance Company with the address in Broadway Road, Phoenix, Arizona. And we'll look at that here in a minute. Also, it says, furthermore, the Chevy Malibu has a salvage title with an Arizona and the prior license plate to the vehicle, which is, and then it gives the prior license plate. The owner, and we're not going to go about the owner because this is the prior owner. And anyway, so that's that part of the report, and I'll show you what I found on that. This is the other part of the report. This talks about, so let me read this. I also spoke with McDonald, who told me that he arrived on scene at 1:06 a.m. He was able to observe the fire department on scene attempting to put out the fire, which later extinguished the car fire, later determined to be white Chevy Malibu. McDonald and the fire department observed a female occupant in the back seat, deceased. Let's see. At approximately 2:32 a.m., I was also advised that the person who called it in was this Robert guy. He attempted to call Robert. They had some back and forth, missing each other's call, leaving voicemails back and forth. But it goes on to say that when he originally called it in, I'm trying to find it. The voicemail stated that he observed a vehicle on the north side of the road on I-10 West. And this is very interesting, with a person walking around the outside of the vehicle. So either that could be one of the suspects that he observed, or this was another bystander that saw the vehicle walking around it. So, of course, we don't know, but it would be interesting if this Robert guy did see or has some kind of description of this person walking around the vehicle. And then, anyway, it goes on to say that they kind of had a back and forth with, missing each other's phone calls. But it appears this Robert guy was the one that had originally, unless it's the other person that was walking around it, had found the vehicle first. So, it's kind of interesting. And again, we have a VIN to go off of, and I did pull the records on that, which we'll go over here in just a bit.
Wasn't the ultimate goal, and she paid the price for fighting back.
Why would you not just shoot her in the parking garage?
She was tortured. Ultimately, that if there's no other way you can say this, and this.
Her parents say she danced at a club 2 nights a week, and they are working to learn if her death was tied to somebody who met her at work and if there are other victims involved. While Mercedes' ashes now sit on their fireplace across from a wall of pictures dedicated to her memory, the Pillsburys can only hope someone will speak up, because 7 months with no answers and no arrests is no justice at all.
It's eating us alive every single day because these persons are walking around and no one's being held accountable, and my daughter mattered.
So again, it's for those that are just tuning in, it's been 1 year to the date that they found her body at 1 a.m. in the morning in a burning car. She had a gunshot, she had bleach in her throat, blunt force trauma, bleach in the throat, died of smoke inhalation. So this poor girl suffered the worst. And they are today, I think it's today, they are doing a walk. I don't know what time it's happening. If it could be going on now. They're going to be doing a walk for her, and then at the end of the walk, they're going to the headquarters of Maricopa Police Department, because they're protesting peacefully, of course, because they feel like they need answers, and that they're not doing enough.
To Tonopah. That's a long time to be tortured like that.
So you showed us the video of her walking into the parking garage. Was it her car that she was found in burning?
No, and
Somebody
so that's
else's car.
it's some other car. Her car actually was found abandoned at the Culinary Dropout in Tempe. So they don't know how her car got from point A, the apartment, to Culinary Dropout. Who drove the other car to Tonopah and then left it there burning?
But whose car it was?
Or whose car it was? No, and so they're trying to figure that out too. There's a lot of moving parts here and a lot of unknowns. But her dad told me, he's like, they could have gone out just a little bit further off the road and left her body there, and nobody really would have known. But it was a show of a crime. They knew that this car was going to be found on fire. One of the most popular and busiest freeways from here to LA. I mean, somebody was going to find that. They found it quickly, and unfortunately, they just didn't get to her fast.
So here's the report again. I'm not going to go over it much, but again, we have the details now. So it was a white, was it 2018? Yeah, Chevy Malibu. And we got a VIN number, so I've got some details to go over on this. Now, is a salvage title, for those that are not familiar with the salvage title, usually that means the vehicle had been in a pretty bad wreck. And usually sometimes salvage titles mean, and I'm certainly no expert on salvage titles because I've never had to deal with them, but I understand them a little bit, but basically, the car, it's not always, but it usually means that the car was like either flooded, wrecked really bad, and usually they just use the title to salvage parts from it. But they also can be sold as well. They can be fixed up. They just will, I don't think you can get a clean title from a salvage title. I don't know. Because I'm not an expert on that, but, and I think you can usually find them at auctions, I believe, as well. Sometimes you'll get these cars that have been somehow fixed enough that they can sell them again, but they will have a salvage title with them. I don't think so. It's pretty basic on it, but yeah, it doesn't mention anything about pregnancy. But again, if you're just tuning in, there is leads. They say they now have surveillance footage, but anyway. So here was kind of the stuff that I was able to get. Here's the VIN number. It only had 73,000 miles on it. Of course, it was 2018. Again, I've never really dealt with the salvage title. I just kind of know a little bit about them. It seems like maybe this car came because it's claiming Illinois here. I was able to pull some records. I didn't want to pay for Carfax and get like a super detailed, but this did give me at least some details about the previous history on it. Seems like this possibly came from Illinois, or at least the company working State Farm Insurance, Illinois here. So maybe whatever happened was in 2022. There's also records that says Texas, but the final one is the salvage title, which is Arizona 1219, 2022. And it still had, so this is what's interesting. At least it says the registered owner is the State Farm Insurance Company, which we'll look at that. It's an auto salvage place. Now, on the license plate had the prior owner, which we're not going to look up the prior owner. But I thought that was kind of interesting. So it just makes me wonder, did this prior owner buy the vehicle from the auto salvage place? Then did this person either try to sell under the table because it was junk, and then it just never, whoever bought it could be behind this or know somebody who was behind it, and they just never got the title updated because they were planning to use this car to send a message. If you have any ideas, let me know. Again, like I said, I'm no expert on the Auto Salvage, and I've never bought a car from auto auction, but here's the place. This is the address of the registered owner, which is the salvage yard or the State Farm Insurance, but it's also an auto salvage yard. So here we can see it. Weekly auto auctions, repairable vehicles, theft recovery, park carts and trucks. And it's got the IAAI, which we've seen before. There's the address to the place. Insurance auto auctions. So like I said, I've never bought a car from an auction, but I heard that you can obviously get clean titled cars and salvage titled cars from there. DB about the vehicle was kept there at the salvage yard and was kept there for nefarious reasons. I've also wondered that too. Was it taken from the auto salvage yard? I mean, there could be more to this car. Was it stolen from this previous owner? Because it had the license plate and it says previous owner and they have the name. So I would think if like this person was involved, they would have solved this a long time ago. Just trying to see what you guys say in chat. Because again, like I said, I've never really dealt with a salvage title. I understand them enough, but never have really dealt with one. Donna says, totaled vehicle, you can repair and apply for another title. Yeah, I was reading a little bit about that, but I heard like it's really hard to get it back to a clean title if it's a salvage title. Let's see. That hold all she is carrying could be that she was off to perhaps do a private dance. Didn't want people to know. Hence why she was going to work. I mean, she is not dressed for a date. Interesting. Susie lady. Yeah, because she was originally supposedly going to Dave & Buster's. And then out of the blue. And that was the last time we covered this. I think it was like maybe, I know it was last year. Towards the end of the year. So maybe 5 months ago. And again, that at the time, that was the place that she was going, Dave & Buster's. And now, supposedly they have this communication, which they haven't released who she's talking to. So that could be a clue. And yeah, she was supposedly going to work. And so, yeah, I mean, it's possible. But again, here's just the address to that place. And again, like I said, I've never bought a car from auto auctions. But I thought it was just kind of interesting that it's got the license plate of the prior owner. And we can trace a few things with the VIN number. Oops, sorry.
Maybe
So here's them kind of talking about a few details.
it'll jog someone's memory. The personalized license plate on the white 2019 Dodge Charger might be a point that might trigger someone.
But to your question, I don't feel like it's gone much farther. I do believe that walking Mill Avenue where her car was found and actually going in personally and talking to GMs and managers, and this is a topic of conversation on Mill Avenue. The main reason it's a topic of conversation is because of the age and the location and how many young women and men are on that area 7 days a week.
So they're talking about where her car was, not the car that she was found in, but her car, where it was abandoned at the Culinary Dropout. I think it's just south of that area. They talk about how there's like mini bars and it's really popular. So they're kind of surprised that nobody saw, because if she was abducted at 9:15, this is what's crazy is I'm just going to pull up Google Earth here. And let me just pull up the directions from her place. So here's her place, right? Move that over. So this is the Audrey right here. And she was coming out of her apartment. There's an underground parking. So I'm assuming maybe in one of these buildings here, there's the elevator and or stairs. I'm assuming there's probably both to the underground garage. She's going to walk to her car. She gets attacked, and sadly, it's just out of view of the camera. And then she's put into her car, assuming. And then there would have to be another person either there with another car, because, I mean, how would they get there? Unless they walked there. But yeah, I mean, it has to be two people at least that were involved. So they came, probably both got out, attacked her, just out of view of the camera, sadly, and then put her in her car, and then one person drove her in her car, and the other one probably followed, and they literally just drove not far, which is 5 minutes, to this culinary dropout. So she's attacked at 9:15. Her body's found at 1 a.m. And the place that she's found takes at least an hour to drive out that way. And so they would have to drop her vehicle off like 9:20, between 9:20 and 10 p.m. And it's like, how did nobody... There had to have been people that had seen something happen right here. And anyway, so, I was just going to show, where is Mills? Mills is like somewhere, one of these side streets, but just south of here, if I recall. It's been a minute since I covered this case, but anyway, I know he's just talking about this general area and how busy it is. Maybe it's on this side. Oh, yeah, there's Mill Ave. Okay, so it's just on the other side. My apologies. I knew it was close. So apparently this is really popular area, and even over here. And so, again, the parents are really dumbfounded that nobody saw anything. Or maybe they did. They just, the right person hasn't seen, know about this case. Rose Alaska with the $10 donation. Thank you so much. That really helps this channel. As you guys know, we don't only cover true crime, but we go out and help people. We just got back from Aiden Clune. I can't do it without your guys' support, so I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Rose. Again, if you can, it does help to help with donations and PayPal or Venmo. But here is the parents talking about that area.
There's people that are afraid to walk to their cars at night. GM told me that. She's like, I run a very popular restaurant and I put a lot of money in the safe and I have to walk to my car at 2:30 in the morning. So I do believe what these young ladies have done and getting it out there, people. I do believe someone's going to slip up sitting at a table and someone's going to overhear it. I do believe that. That's what I believe Mill Avenue's got going. Anything else?
When you say Mill Avenue, do you mean downtown Tempe?
Yes, where all the college bars are.
Yeah.
Because her car was found at the culinary drop-off, which is not right. It's not far. You can walk to it from there. But like I said, it is a topic of conversation. I've been there twice, and every place that I went into knew about it and took the time to talk to me. And some of them have actually placed it on their websites for their employees to warn them to be careful and to pay attention. It's because the nature of it. That's yeah. But, okay.
Any surveillance video found outside of
Susie Lay says a lot of exotic dancers do private jobs. It's dangerous work and dancers are always at risk. Yeah, certainly. And that could be, maybe there was a client and this was a setup. But here is the area, the culinary dropout. And as we had listened from the news report that came out, I think yesterday, they claimed that there is surveillance footage of her car arriving at this culinary dropout. They don't talk about much other than that, but clearly they do have surveillance footage. And so if they have it arriving, you would think that they would be able to at least, I mean, we don't know how far or where this camera is located, so it could be, you know, on the other side, so, you know, you can barely see, and it's just a little, you know, small figure. But if they have surveillance, you would think it would help to release it to the public so somebody could identify the suspect or suspects that are involved in this.
Have been made, and very little information has been released by investigators. Part of what's made the past 11 months so difficult for Mercedes' parents.
The people that killed my little girl are still out there.
An emotional plea from a heartbroken mother.
You can be the person that brings justice to Mercedes. She didn't deserve to die.
On the night of April 16th last year, surveillance footage from Mercedes Vega's Tempe apartment complex shows her walking to her car. She was heading out to meet friends, but seconds after this video, the 22-year-old was attacked. Hours later, Vega's body was found in the back seat of a burning car on the I-10 freeway just west of Tonopah. She had also been shot in the arm, and bleach was discovered in her throat. Her car was found parked illegally not far from Mill Avenue.
We don't know who did this. We know that her vehicle was found in that area. So that means either they lived in that area or they were frequent people of that area.
11 months later, Vega's parents can't understand how no arrests have been made. They say despite asking for updates on a regular basis, they've been told little information about their daughter's case.
Do I feel the case is progressing? Yes. Really? I do feel it's progressing, but I don't feel it's progressing as fast as it should. I don't feel that they ask the public for help.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office confirming to 12 News Vega's case is now a multi-agency investigation. And while they're still the lead agency, a federal department and others are involved too.
To me, it shows that my daughter's not a priority.
Which is why Vega's mother, Erica Pillsbury, shared her daughter's story on social media, concerned that the killers responsible for her gruesome death are still out there.
Your soul is ripped out of you when your child is taken, when your daughter is taken from you. I don't want any other mom to lose their 20-something-year-old daughter.
She's now personally urging businesses and residents in the Tempe area to go back through security camera footage to see if they can access video from the night of April 16th and look out for Vega or her car, a white Dodge Charger. Anything that can help bring her family justice and allow them to start to heal.
Yeah, you'd think in this day and age, it's always, I mean, not every case, but, you know, in this new age where we got, you know, not only surveillance cameras at these local businesses, but then residential. And I would assume if they even have at least an idea of the suspect or maybe what they were driving, because clearly they ditched her car at the culinary dropout. So that means their vehicle had to have been somewhere near there. Possibly the second driver followed them there. And then the suspect that was driving her car then got into that car with her. And now they all three go in a vehicle, which is the one they dumped. And then maybe they had to meet up and get a second vehicle because obviously they're going to dump that Chevy Malibu off the Interstate 10. Oops, sorry. And that was found all the way over here. Let's see where. Gosh, it was found so far away. Here we go, Tonopah. Trying to remember the exact place it was at. And here. Oh, yep. So it was just after this rest area on the north side. And it was found all the way over here. Let me actually do this. So it's an hour and 40 minutes. It's 68 miles from her home. And it was literally... So this is west. And it was found just on the north side. Forget the mile marker, like 60 something. But yeah, found just off the road here somewhere, burning at 1 a.m. in the morning. So clearly, they would have had her and a car that they would have been in, the Chevy Malibu, and then a second car to then escape in. Would be interesting to know if this Robert guy did see something. Again, in the report says Robert claims he saw somebody walking around the vehicle. Again, we don't know if that was just another bystander that just hadn't called it in yet, and Robert was the first one to call it in. Rose says, as a mother myself, I can't imagine losing one of my children. Yeah, in this fashion, it's just absolutely terrible. Yeah, again, let's see. In New Mexico, the license plate stays with the original owner when the vehicle is sold. Yeah, again, like I said, I've never sold or dealt with a salvage titled vehicle. I know from my uncle who used to build bikes, and he would always get like salvage titles for parts, because he would rebuild motorcycles. But yeah, I've never had to deal with one myself. So anyway, I'm just going to recap a couple more things. And like I said, they are doing the walk, I believe, today. So I was going to see if I could find anything on maybe Twitter or something. Because they're supposed to be doing a walk, I believe, today or tonight. And then eventually they're going to end up at the headquarters. But I just wanted to play this. I think which one is the one I got today? Yeah, this one.
Just into our newsroom tonight, new developments in the Mercedes Vega murder investigation 1 day before the 1 year mark of her death. That is where we begin tonight. The 22-year-old was found dead in a burning car off the I-10 in Tonopah.
The medical examiner ruled her death homicide, and that's remained unsolved to this day. But tonight, we've learned new details about where this investigation stands. True crime correspondent Brianna Whitney has been following this case closely this past year. Brianna, what's the latest tonight?
We now know there was a change in where Mercedes said she was going last. And the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office revealed there's surveillance footage of a key moment in this case that may provide a lead to detectives. Take a look at this. This is the last known video we have of Mercedes Vega leaving her Tempe apartment complex heading into the parking garage. Her family tells us her car was found abandoned at the culinary dropout in Tempe, but they say she didn't drive it there. Tonight, MCSO confirming they have surveillance video showing Mercedes' car arriving in the roadway and being left there until detectives discovered it.
Arriving in the roadway. So, and they claimed it was parked. Culinary dropout. Just go back to this one more time here. So this is the place. They said they found it illegally parked. So I don't know if that on the road, I'm assuming maybe in one of these stalls, or maybe, I don't know if you'd park right there, but looks like there's a couple of cutouts here where they can park. Let's see, what does it say? Just curious to see what the signs say about the parking in this area. So customer parking only. Yep. Makes sense. So interesting. I'm assuming maybe one of these stalls, at least that's what it sounds like. Could be wrong, but they said off the road and not in the parking lot. So it'd be interesting, you know, is there a camera here, wherever it captured? And I believe this is taken in December. So this would have been, this picture here is 4 months old from the attack. I don't know if this is, no, this is older. So this complex was taken out. Not sure what they put in there. But yeah, one of these places clearly had a camera and captured it. So it's kind of wild that they haven't released this footage. Let me see if there's anything about the walk. There's the mother with her plea, which is really tough to hear. I was hoping maybe they may have like some kind of live video or something of it so we could kind of see, but it doesn't look like that. But again, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if she mentioned it in this video or not.
I'm the mother of Mercedes Vega.
Oh, I can't believe someone happened to do this.
I need the people of the Phoenix area to be aware that my child's killers are still at large.
Can you guys hear that
still
okay?
Preying on the young women of Tempe. They're still out there. You shouldn't allow your young female children to ever be alone in this city. The vile, horrific, disgusting torture of my child has not been important enough for people to share it, but I'm going to share it now. There are people out there preying on your children. They're watching them. They're learning their patterns. They're planning horrible things to do to your child. You need to worry about your children at ASU. You need to worry about the fact that they could be abducted, that they could be shot, forced to drink bleach. You need to worry that your child may be lit on fire while they're still alive. You need to reevaluate where your child is, because if they are in Tempe, they are not safe.
So I'm just going to pause it here for a second. I do remember reading when this story kind of broke, I think it was on Reddit, there was a bunch of people that actually lived in that same apartment complex, and they said that there was a lot of crime activity happening just around that time that this happened to her. Now, that could be just unrelated, and it could just be an area that's kind of got more, you know, robberies or break-ins, whatever, stuff like that. But it was interesting. There was a lot of people like, hey, I lived there when that happened, and this is what happened to me a couple weeks earlier. But this does sound like this is more personal and not just like, you know, clearly this was premeditated, because to be able to pull this off, they had to have at least two people, two vehicles, including her vehicle, because once they ditch the one vehicle, then they need to escape. So you have three vehicles involved in this. I would believe. I would doubt they're just going to ditch this vehicle and then wander off. Still, I mean, we don't know all the details. It's just kind of speculation. But anyway, I just wanted to share that.
The evil, disgusting excuses for human beings are out there watching them, waiting and hoping for a chance to catch them off guard. Whether or not it is their plan to take them across the border, I don't know. some way to get money out of them, sex trade, human trafficking. It's happening right here in Arizona, right here in Arizona, right here in the Phoenix Valley, right in Tempe. They're being taken and they're being tortured. They're being manipulated, they're being groomed, and they are killing people. And you need to pay attention.
I can't tell you what the psychological torture that has gone on to this poor lady and the family. And I've seen it before in other cases that I've worked on personally, that it changes their perspective on the world in a very, very negative way. And it breaks my heart to see what that does to them. I wish I kind of would have pre-watched this video, because I almost feel like this is just, I mean, this is terrible, but oh, this is tough. I may only play a little bit more because this is really tough to watch.
You need to tell your daughters. The people that killed my little girl are still out there. They have no conscience and they have no remorse. They have no feelings, and you need to make sure that your daughters understand that they are not safe. The campus is so close to the freeway. Their dorms, their apartments. It's very, very, very easy for someone to just pull your child into a vehicle and take them over the border and force them to do things you could never imagine someone could do.
Okay. Yeah, I'll probably leave that there. Like I said, I feel so bad for these family, and that's why I wanted to cover this case. I was, like I said, there was 2 cases I was debating on covering tonight, but considering it was the anniversary for her daughter, I felt like I had to cover this case, and we learned a little bit of new information. Like I said, I was always curious why we didn't know what kind of car that was that she was found in. It was never mentioned. There was no details. Thought that was kind of odd. But again, somebody got the police report, and then they sent me some screenshots of it. I don't know if that's a dead end or not. Like I said, considering it's the salvage titled vehicle, who knows what kind of funny stuff could have happened. But again, yeah, a very beautiful girl, and she was only doing her dancing thing part-time. She wanted to become a personal trainer. She had 6 siblings. I forget, brothers and sisters, but they all said that she was very responsible and literally just starting her life. And like I said, to me, it sounds like a jealous thing, and certainly personal. Other than that, I still can't believe they just don't have more on this case, but hopefully maybe, it sounds like they have surveillance footage. Maybe that's something that they recently came across and didn't have before. And so now it's just a matter of time of studying that, and maybe they'll release it to the public. Other than that, I don't know what to say. It's tough. This case really, it's so hard to watch the interviews by the family. Because that mother, God bless her, she is just torn up. I mean, both of them are.
At work. And if there are other victims involved, while Mercedes' ashes now sit on their fireplace across from a wall of pictures dedicated to her memory, the Pillsburys can only hope someone will speak up, because 7 months with no answer.
That's a good question. So in the vehicle she was found in, there was lighter fluid. I want to say gloves. And let's see, lighter fluid, and I believe a glove or gloves. And as far as her belongings, I'm trying to think. I don't know if that's been mentioned or not. It's certainly not in the police report, so Now, it'd be interesting to see if there's a report for when they found her car and what was in that. That would be something I would like to see. I don't know if I can request a FOIA on that. It'd be interesting to note what they found in her car. Maybe, I would think they would have probably destroyed it. So yeah, that's a good question. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Terry says, yeah. And that's why I played a part of it, because, yeah, she's trying to get the message across. But it's so hard to see them in that state. It's so bad. Yeah, I definitely think it was planned, premeditated. I mean, you'd have to in this case, for sure. But anyway, let's see. We started at 5. I think we'll... Yes, you're right, DB. Yeah, they're definitely going to withhold information. And so you always, at the end of the day, you kind of have to trust in law enforcement. But again, it always feels like when you're a year out, I'm sure the family feels like, and they've claimed it, that this isn't a priority to them. Some people think a female could have been involved. Yeah, who knows? Definitely at least 2, and then I think they could have maybe gone over the border. I mean, because you are close to that area. And I know somebody mentioned cartel earlier. Yeah, could it be like a cartel somehow involved, like member or something? Who knows? I mean, they are one to send messages. I know that they usually send a more clear message, but then again, I don't know. I'm no expert in the cartel. But clearly, this was a message sent in a horrific way. So anyway, tomorrow, the Patreons and members, I've got the stuff for Aiden Clune, a bunch of behind-the-scenes footage and the drone footage. If you want to be involved in helping, because like I said, there's a lot of drone footage to go over. I'll be uploading that tomorrow morning at some point. And then let me know in the chat or in the comments if you want me to cover the Oklahoma mothers. I feel like that case is kind of now reached not its end, but they have now, of course, caught the killers, and we kind of know the story. But then there's Riley Strain, which I did do a video that came out earlier, which the parents in that case claim that Riley Strain did text the mother saying that his drink tasted funny and it tasted like barbecue. And so if you haven't seen that, I would check out that video. And then I think they were recently quoted today saying something. Oh gosh, what were they quoted saying? Let's see. Oops, wrong one. Oh, Riley Strain's family thinks somebody helped him in the water. And that was just recently. So the family is, they definitely feel like there was some kind of foul play. And they're still waiting on the toxicology report. I think we should be getting that soon. I know it takes like weeks to a month, maybe 2 most, but we should be getting that. I know the crime has gotten really bad in Maricopa County in the last couple of years. There have been a lot of trouble with the teen gang. That's why I live in a small county. Thank you, love, for sharing that. Interesting. Caleb Harris. Yeah, I always look out for a lot of cases that I cover, for sure. What if the barbecue taste was just a signature drink? Now, I did think about that. I wondered if he had gotten a different drink. Because I know there's a vodka that has a barbecued flavor, and I think there's a whiskey, although I don't drink, so it's funny that I know this, but just because I looked it up. I cheated. But I know there's a whiskey that's barbecue flavored. I think the vodka, I don't know if the vodka, I think the vodka would be clear, so you'd know that was vodka. So maybe it was a whiskey barbecue that he got instead. But, if you ordered a rum and Coke, you would think you would get a rum and Coke. And yeah, that certainly doesn't taste like barbecue. The 2 years that I did drink, I did like rum and Coke, so... And I don't remember that tasting like barbecue, so that is really odd. Yeah, he went to Kid Rock's. He went to at least like a few different bars, so... Is there a cause of death on moms? They were shot. That's what they believe. They found a pool of blood. They had an expert on. This is what I was going to cover. But then again, like I said, it was an anniversary for the other case. They found pool of blood, and the guy said that it was most likely they were each shot. And yeah, so... Yeah, what a crazy case. Yeah, and the frat boys didn't help look for Riley. Yeah, that was disappointing to hear too. Anyways, if you missed out on that, check out my drink, or check out my, I was reading drink. Check out my video. I did cover that. Oh, Heather, I'm so sorry. My doctor's niece got a drink at a concert and it killed her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, don't leave your drink unattended. Huh. Tread and Trail says there's a drink called Rum and Smoke. Oh, like the smoky taste of barbecue. Interesting. Again, been a long time since I drank, so I don't know all the new drinks or whatever, but I did a little research on barbecued tasted alcohol, and I noticed that there was the vodka and the whiskey. But yeah. Yeah, as far as the mothers, like I said, I didn't get to fully research that because I switched over. But we may cover that. We'll have to see. Again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to tune in. I just had to cover this case because I know eventually we're going to get, hopefully she'll get the justice and they catch these guys. And it'd be interesting to find out how they did this. And again, just at the end of the day, hopefully these Mercedes gets justice and the family can move on. Smoke flavored pinto beans. Oh, that sounds terrible. Yeah. YouTube person went out there, blood covered kitty litter. Locals went out. I'm assuming this is an Oklahoma thing. That's crazy. Yeah, the Riley strain. They went to the formal. Didn't search for Riley. They did come to the funeral. And then there's the incident at the hotel that night. Something went down where they were upset about something. So, I don't know, man. There's some crazy stuff in that case still that I still feel like we haven't heard everything in the Riley Strain case. And the parents are set on that for right now. Yeah, if you want to email me, Terry, like I said, I may cover it the next time I go live. We'll have to see just kind of what's breaking, what's going on in that case. In other cases, of course. But yeah, if you'd like to email me, for sure. Love says, I bet it was, and this is talking about Mercedes gang killing. I know that went around here in Arizona for a while about that case. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you would think gang cartel, somebody sending a message for sure. Anyway, all right, guys. I hope you have a good night. Rose, thank you so much for the $10. Like I said, that really helps me out because we got another case that I'd like to go out and search for another missing person, but I need your guys' support. So with that, I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Thank you to the wonderful mods taking the time out of your day to mod the channel, keeping this a wonderful community. And we will be back Friday, and tomorrow will be for the Patreons and members. I will have the video for Aiden Clune, bunch of behind the scenes and drone footage from the new drone that we got. So yeah, I know. Like I said, if you missed out on the Riley Strain, I've got the video update on my channel. So, and thank you members so much for the support and Patreons, and we'll see you guys Friday.